call the meeting of the Employee Benefits Review Committee workshop to order at this time. Lisa, can you please call roll?
Councilmember Blevins,
Here.
Member Mathis,
Here.
Member Freitas.
Here.
Yeah, close.
Right.
Member Claxton. Here. Member Holloman. Here. Member Valad.
Here.
Member Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Feldhouse. Councilmember Feldhouse is absent. All other members are present. You do have four.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda or disapprove.
Motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion in second. All in favor, state the same aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. The first set is the meeting of October 2nd, 2025. Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
I just handed those out for this one, so.
We do have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion or time needed to review? If not, all in favor, state the same aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion has been approved. Next is the minutes from the October 7th, 2025 meeting. Chair will entertain a motion. Have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor, state the same aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed and approved. Now, public comment.
We don't have any.
Thank you, ma'am. Brings us to old business. And now we have Mr. Brian Turner, Bill Cross Blue Shield. Turner, you've got the floor, sir.
And Jackson here. Yes.
Jackson,
No, it's all right.
Jackson, I'm sorry.
He's been called worse.
I just had.
That's all right. Well,
Brian, dog.
yes. And so Brian actually wasn't able to come today because it's kind of a tricky spot for him. If you have multiple brokers quoting on a group, then the Blue Cross account manager has to be neutral. So he didn't want to appear that he's working more favorably with either broker. So he chose to sit out today. So I hope that's okay. But just wanted to clarify that for him. And also Mr. Wendell couldn't make it today either. He had a medical appointment that was scheduled a couple of months ago that he just couldn't get moved. So I'll be handling everything today, and I appreciate you having me back. And apologies for last time for not bringing these multiple options. We just weren't quite aware that that's what you all wanted to see. So that's what we brought here today, a couple different options for you all to look at. And as we touched on last time, you have full customizable abilities with your plan. So if you want any tweaks, you want anything at all, we can accommodate that for you. And also, before we get into these different plan design options, I did want to clarify something from our last meeting. Our last meeting, we were kind of comparing and contrasting some things with the state plan, and I just wanted to confirm, like, in no way, shape, or form did I want to come off as that I think the state plan is bad or anything like that. We were just comparing some things and just making you aware of certain things. The state plan is great for groups that are getting really high renewals every year, that lack stability, that have really high rates. It's a good option for some groups. So I didn't want you to think that we were talking bad in any way. So on the spreadsheet that I have for you here today, we've got your current plan design option on the left there. And then we've got two alternative plan designs there as well that you could add in for January 1 or whenever you want to. Now, we looked at probably 5 or 6 different plan alternatives, and these were kind of the two that we thought fit best, both in terms of price point and in terms of benefit design. But we looked at several others. We looked at an HRA concept. We looked at a gap plan concept. We looked at HSA compatible plans, all of those other things, and they just didn't come out quite competitive enough for us to present here today. So we wanted to keep it simple and just keep it to these couple alternative plan designs. So as I said there, we've got your current plan on the left. And in terms of enrollment numbers on the bottom left there next to the monthly rates, that number obviously fluctuates each month, but I tried to match it. I believe Kay had made a spreadsheet in one of y'all's last meetings, so I just matched it up with those enrollment numbers, but those obviously fluctuate month to month. So got your current plan on the left there, and we kind of went in detail a lot about the pros and cons of it last time. So I think you should have a pretty good understanding of your current plan. That alternate one there in the middle, what we were thinking there was we kind of looked at the state limited plan, which was kind of what I think y'all were looking at, and we added in some of those protections that we talked about last time. So last time, a lot of our conversation was focused on some of the risks that could be that your employees could endure, mostly in terms of specialty meds, in terms of emergency room visits. And so we talked about how when you have a copay there, it's kind of a stopgap to provide protection for your employees, to help them not meet their whole max out of pocket. So that's kind of what we did here. We took the elements of that state limited plan and added in those copays for the ER visit and for the specialty meds. So you can kind of see the copays down there. The deductible is the max out of pocket on that middle plan. The coinsurance we matched was the 70% coinsurance. So that's where after you've met your deductible, the insurance will pay 70% and you as the member pay 30%. We've got the copays there for office visits, primary care specialist, urgent care. The only thing that we did kind of lean out a bit in terms of having it apply to the deductible and coinsurance is that diagnostic lab and x-ray. We talked about that a little bit last time, where your current plan, if you go to the doctor for any type of office visit and they also do blood work or x-rays or things like that, you don't have to pay anything for that currently. It's just included with your office visit copay. Whereas if a plan has deductible and coinsurance for that lab and x-ray, you would have to pay a little bit on top of that. But it's not usually a huge expense. So we thought that was an area where we could lean out the plan just a little bit. But we did want to keep that copay for emergency room visits. So on your current plan, you've got a $200 copay for an emergency room visit. On this alternate plan, we leaned that out a little bit down to $350 for an emergency room copay. But as we discussed, as long as you have a copay there, then that's still a good stopgap and still good protection for your employees. So if an emergency room visit is $10,000, if you don't have a copay, it's just applying to your deductible and coinsurance, then you're probably going to get pretty close to your max out of pocket. Whereas if you have a set copay there, you just pay that copay for emergency room visit. So it's good protection for your employees, even though it is a little bit higher cost than your current emergency room copay, but still a good trade-off there. And then on the prescriptions on that alternate one in the middle there, we've still got $15 copay for generics. We raised it a little bit for the brand name drugs, so $60 copay for a preferred brand name, and then $110 for non-preferred brand name. That matched the state limited plan there. But then we did include a copay for specialty drugs. So we put it at $350 there as well. And our thought process on that was, if you offer this plan as like a base plan, and then you have your current plan or original plan as a buy-up, well then obviously during enrollment time, we would advise anybody who's on specialty drugs to probably do that buy-up plan. However, for any employees who aren't on specialty drugs currently, but may be diagnosed throughout the year, they would still have that protection of having a copay for specialty drugs. So someone who's diagnosed during the year and is on that leaner plan would pay $350 a month for their specialty drug. And as we talked about last time, those specialty drugs can be $10,000 a month. You know, if you're on a specialty drug, and it's applying to your max out of pocket, you're going to meet that max out of pocket. So having that specialty copay there provides good protection for your employees. So you can see the price point there on that alternate one. It gets the price point down a lot compared to your current plan. The total savings to the city, I've got that broken down there, and that's based on your contribution strategy of if you did 100% employee only and then 50% for the dependents. So it gets the cost down about 11.5%, which translates to almost $275,000 of savings to the city. And then I've also got the employees' annual cost there as well. So gets it down for those that are on dependent care as well. Any questions on that middle plan?
I think you answered this question already, but I just wanted to confirm that you don't have an issue with some employees being on alternate one and some employees being on current.
That's fine. Any mix, yeah.
Pretty sure that's what you said.
Yes, any mix of enrollment is perfectly fine. Yes. And I did want to mention, highlighted there in the middle, all of these plans would still include your fourth quarter carryover. So we talked about that a little bit last time, but basically any claims that you have during the fourth quarter, the last 3 months of the year, carry over to the next year. So you get credit for those for the following year. So, which is a pretty big deal. That's a pretty rare thing these days. But, you know, if someone has a surgery in the fourth quarter or things like that, then they're going to be, you know, golden for the next year. So all of these plans would include, even if an employee changed plans or whatever, they would still get their fourth quarter carryover.
Can I ask exactly how that works? Because there was a little bit of confusion about that. If you meet your deductible, say you're $1,000 away from meeting your deductible this year, and you meet that deductible in December, so does the $1,000 carry over to the next year? Or have you met your deductible for the next year?
Only the claims that were incurred during the
3
fourth
month
quarter.
period carry
Yes.
over, and then they're good for the whole next year.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So say maybe you met your $2,000 in the first 3 quarters of the year, but then you didn't have any claims in the last, so you wouldn't necessarily.
That carry over in effect.
Exactly.
It's only like
Only-
October, November, December.
Exactly.
I got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any additional questions? Me?
That's probably good. You still go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so now,
Yeah. So on that alternate 2 on the right there, that would be a richer buy-up strategy. So we wanted to include a plan for maybe those people that have extremely high medical costs and they want the richest plan possible. And it's actually not that much more expensive than your current plan. But on that alternate 2, we have a $750 deductible, so very low there, and then 90% coinsurance. So meaning once you hit that once you hit that deductible of $750, then the insurance is going to pay 90% of your claims, which is a pretty big deal. We actually had some feedback of employees that were saying they had like PT visits or things like that were pretty costly. So for examples like that, this plan could be a good fit for them. They'd meet their first $750, and then 90% of their claims would be covered. The max out of pocket is lowered there to $3,500. So again, if someone is certain that they're going to meet their max out of pocket, then it'd probably be beneficial for them to go with the plan with the lowest max out of pocket. The copays there are also lower, so $25 for office visit and $45 for specialist as well as urgent care. We did no cost on the diagnostic lab and x-ray, and then we left all of the ER and pharmacy copays the same. So again, this would be for those employees that have extreme medical needs or are just certain that they're going to meet that max out of pocket, things like that. Gives them a good option to choose that richest benefit there. And like I said, it's actually not too much more expensive than your current plan. And I didn't mention, but all of these deductibles and max out of pockets for family is 2 times. That's standard on all medical plans. So just wanted to mention that. But yeah, so on that richest plan there, it's about 6.9% more expensive than your current plan. And you can see what that would translate there to. I don't think the city would do this as their base plan, obviously, but it would be a good option there for the employees. So like I said, we did look at probably 10 different plan design options, and these were the ones that we thought fit best. But if there's any tweaks that you want to make, by all means, like this is your plan. This is your plan. You can make any tweaks that you want to. You just let us know, and within two or 3 days, we can have that turned around for you. I did want to also mention that I think it got brought up a little bit last time, and I won't give specifics, but in terms of how your plan is running, I think there were some questions about how your claims have been. The last several months have been incredible claims months for your plan. So your largest claimant actually came off the plan a couple of months ago, and that's made a big difference. So when we reached out to underwriting with Blue Cross, they said you'd be looking at a very good renewal here coming up because your claims have run really well the past couple of months. And we mentioned the stability of your plan last time. Your average renewal has been about 3.5%, which is fantastic. So I would expect your upcoming renewal to be right at that or even below possibly. So your plan's been running really well the last couple of months. So that's about all I have in terms of the plan designs. Any questions overall?
So, okay, I'm sorry I missed the very beginning, but are these alternate 1 and alternate 2? Are they options that are available to our existing plan? If the city says we want to go with our current plan and an employee wants to go with alternate 1 or alternate 2, they can buy into it?
Yes, you can offer all 3 of these plans. You can only offer 2 of them, whatever you like. We can offer these.
So if this is something that, say we wanted to make an offer of all 3 of these, is this something that would have to wait until open enrollment to do, or would we kind of have to have a new
We can do January 1.
open enrollment type situation?
Yes.
Would that change the date of our annual open enrollment, or?
No, so we can add these plans January 1, do an open enrollment to help the employees get on the right plan, and then you would still have your renewal for 7/1 as it's been. And like I said, that's tracking to be a really good renewal, but it would still be 7/1.
So this would just be like an additional?
Just like a mid-year plan change, yes, ma'am.
I would say just the council would have to decide if they want to still pay half of the upgrade if people choose the bigger one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I know if you average it over since 2018, it's 3%. The last 4 years, the insurance costs have went up over 27%. So with those type of costs that we're passing on to the employees that are paid for the family and whatnot, that's the thing that's been alarming. It's not kept up. Wages and everything else not kept up to meet what that is. So when you talk about a really good renewal, what do you think you're talking about? 1%, 2%, 3%?
I'd say right around that 3.5% or less, which is, I think we mentioned last time, the market average renewals have been about 10 to 13%. So it may not feel like y'all have had good renewals, but yeah.
Not the last 4.
Yeah.
Not the last 4 with what we had compared to the 4 before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I can compare it on.
Yes.
5%, right?
Hmm?
This past year it was a 5% increase.
It was 4.99, a 5, a 9.78, and a 7.57.
Mhm.
So over the last 4 years, 27% increase in insurance costs for the employees in the city. So,
This is doubly hard for the city because obviously the employee's gonna feel that bite, right? So
mhm,
the city is left with not only a higher insurance rate, but also having to offset that with raises.
mhm,
So it's like the city's feeling that doubly hard.
yeah. And so are the employees if it doesn't match.
Yeah,
Being less than
if the city can't, if the city can't come up with that percentage for the raise, then the city's gonna, then the employee feels it and the city feels it.
Yeah.
Let me say, when people get raises, it's a percentage of their entire salary.
Absolutely.
That does not equate to the same percentage as an
No, it
insurance
does not.
increase.
She's right, exactly right.
And we just have to make sure that whatever that percentage might be, if this increases 5%, then is it 2% for the employees over their entire wage? That would be a number that we'd have to know.
Well, I checked that a year or two ago, and it's not exceeding the raise amount. Now, those employees aren't getting as big a raise as other employees. They will get 4% because some of it has gone up if they have dependent coverage. Of course, it doesn't affect the majority that have employee only, but,
Yeah,
when,
it's the ones with the family
Right.
that's the one I'm talking about, because employee only, the city pays for, which is a great benefit. With that being said, if, say, I want to pick alternate 2, and right now we're paying 804, which the city has said that they would do, but I want alternate 2, I would have to make up the $55 a month. Is that how we would do that?
Yeah, I was wanting to talk about that alternate food plot, because if I was in that family, even if I had to pick up the whole thing,
Mhm.
by the time you have a dramatically lower deductible, dramatically lower out of pocket, 500, 1,800, you save $2,500 right there, plus all the office visits. I mean, you saved money. I would jump all over alternate too. Of course, I'm older.
Yeah.
And a lot of these 20 and 30-year-olds, they're bulletproof, so they don't care about insurance right
Yep.
now.
And that's the good thing about having multiple options, is there's a lot of different needs.
I could,
That would be something that, and how would that work with, is that something that could be easily done through payroll then?
What?
Keeping track of all that, okay?
Track of what?
Well, if he wants alternate 2, I want alternate 1, and the other person, Scott, wants to stay with the same.
Plan.
Yeah, so what you're taking out of everybody's paycheck, it's not essentially what it was
It would
before.
just calculate it one time, and then it would just last the rest of that year.
And we could assist with that as well. Obviously we would make a deduction sheet with the different deductions. We would keep track of it in our system, and we could send y'all a payroll spreadsheet with everybody's payroll deductions as well. So we would keep track of that, and help y'all with that, make that as easy as possible. Most of our groups do offer multiple plans, and we help them with the payroll deductions and all of that. So we assist with that.
Any additional questions or comments? Or,
If we did go with this, where we were choosing the different plans, what kind of notice would you need to be prepared to swap everybody over in January?
Probably 30-day notice at least, but we probably want to get the actual enrollment started in mid-November.
Okay.
But since you're already with Blue Cross, it's really not much administrative work to do this. So let's say 30 days.
Mr. Chairman, I forgot to ask the question. And so the plans, whatever they select at the time, of course, in January would last until we do open enrollment at the actual plan year, which is June, July.
Correct.
And so once they select a plan, that plan stays for the year. There's no option to switch in the middle of the year.
Barring any qualifying events, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what would be a qualifying event in which somebody can switch which plan they're on?
Yeah, so loss of coverage for, say, a dependent or things like that, marriage, divorce, loss of coverage, marriage, divorce, those are kind of the main ones.
Sort of the same thing as if someone doesn't have coverage and then they there's a change of coverage somewhere else and they can come in. Okay.
Correct.
Those same type events.
Correct, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Or even if a spouse is going through open enrollment at their company, then that would count as a qualifying
Okay.
event.
So at that time, let's say you needed to add on a dependent, you could change it from alternate 1 to alternate 2. You would allow that type of change, not just from employee only to
Yes, ma'am.
family. Okay, that's good to know.
What's your thought, Henry, on if people, if we allow, if the committee and the council decides to allow this, would the council have to take action since it'll cost the city more money to pay the half? Okay, so that would have to be factored in time-wise.
What you're looking at. Approval in November.
That's not really an ordinance.
Oh, it's business side, yes.
Business side, we could, we would have a special call meeting.
It would kind of be unknown as to how much money it would be, because we don't know who would choose it.
Would it cost more money if the employees covering the fee to go to alternate too?
Well, right now, the city pays half of the upgrade, and isn't your chart calculating on paying half the upgrade by the city?
So how I've got it listed is like if you chose that plan in the middle as your base option, and that's what you did your contributions off of, 100% of employee only, 50% dependents, those savings generated where it says 274,000 of savings. That's if you made that as just your base option and didn't contribute to any buy-up or anything like that. If you do want to contribute to a buy-up plan, you can just work that out, how that would calculate there. But we just kept your current contribution strategy for each plan. So that's how, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think all the bottom numbers are assuming the city's gonna pay 50%.
Correct, yes.
And, you know, if we're gonna change what our current plan is, that might take action too, because what we voted on earlier was to go up 5% on the current plan.
Oh. Sorry. Bring up the other. However, you know, if we did do that November 15th, started it, whatever, and then did that January 1st, you know, there's the potential with the family coverage that enough people could choose the lesser plan, that it would offset the increase for people, for the 50% contribution of the city, for the fewer people that would get the maximum plan. So you may or may not have to have a business item to make a dollar change. It might come in still as a savings. Because I mean, if you just look at it right there, you know, you got us. I think a lot of people will choose, younger, healthier people will be looking at that savings on their family coverage. And so that very well might offset any increase.
It may, but I think we'd have to have action to say that's the plan the city offers now. Before it was just that plan. If we switched the base plan, I think that would take action too. That's just my opinion.
What's the? Let's just go with that.
Yeah, I know we've got, at least I've heard from one employee that's not on the committee that he had to drop off our family plan because the rate had just gotten too much coming off his paycheck. He couldn't afford to be on the family plan anymore. He dropped down to the individual coverage. People like that may think about, you know, want to come back on as a family.
We still pay half the family.
Yeah, we do, but it's that half has gone up. That's what Buck was saying. That half has gone up over the past 4 years, and he actually found it, he couldn't afford to.
If every
Dollars out there.
if all 17 of your family folks drop to the alternate 1, that would be a monthly savings of $4,800. That's all that is. I don't know that we have enough people that are participating in the family and employee children and employee spouse to make a large enough difference. Does that make sense? To offset that cost. What you were saying, because there's only 50 some people. if all 50 decided to, or 57 or whatever it is, decided to do it, I don't know that that would be enough to offset what you're referring to.
Yeah,
It's
comment.
not enough.
I understand you say that the bottom, the numbers at the bottom here that show the family, employee plus spouse, employee plus children and family, those numbers are only half.
That's the employee's annual cost, their
So
total.
if the city's paying 50%, we're paying that same amount.
Correct.
Okay. So on the family plan, currently paying, the employee is currently paying $9,800 per year. And they should be paying $10,490 and then all the way off to $600.
Mhm. Correct. Or almost $1,000 cheaper per year if they do the alternate one. Yes. So yeah, if you make alternate one your base option, then regardless of what employees buy up, or you'll still see large savings overall. I think maybe, well, I don't want to say that for sure. I was going to say even if almost all employees do a buy-up option, you may still see some savings, but I don't want to say that definitively.
Couldn't our current plan remain our base?
Mhm.
And then let the few that want to go down could go down, and the few that want to go up could go up.
I like that idea.
I think that's a better idea.
It's very choices.
It's gonna be less moving parts, I think.
Okay, what, is this, would this be an option? If we kept our current plan as the base? And I know some people say, well, that's not fair. But if employees decided to buy down, which pretty much anybody that wanted to buy down probably would be those that either have the child, spouse, or family coverage. And we continue to pay the 50%, which would be a savings to the city and the employee. However, anyone wanting to buy up, the city not pay that 50%. Would that be an option?
Yeah.
Because we would be saving that way too, but we wouldn't, that would be in a position to where we're not lowering anything that we currently have.
Absolutely.
And then giving the individual employee the choice
Absolutely.
to go up or down, depending on their needs and
Just,
What would we do with the premiums in that situation? Would the city pay the increase in premiums or the employee?
Employee, that's what you said.
Yes.
You
So-
still say that the base, whatever you pay on your base plan, the city would pay that amount. But whatever extra it costs for that premium, the employee picks that up to have better coverage.
Yeah,
I would assume, I assume that would have been the default.
yeah, that makes the most sense.
That does make sense.
If they need that, that's gonna be a savings for them. If they're have a chronic condition.
So we're just setting the price of what we have right now from the employee spouse. That's all the city's gonna pay. Anything that you want above that, it's fine. If you decide to go down, the city's still gonna pay the 804 that it would have, and your rate will be cheaper if you go to alternate one, correct?
Yeah, you'd only go to alternate one if you had a family plan and we're looking to take a little bit out of your
But
check.
the city is gonna pay the 804, okay? Let's just do employee, right? They're guaranteeing that to all employees. If somebody picks alternate one, that's more than what the 7-Eleven is. Will the employee get to see that benefit as well? Is 804 a number?
Oh, you're saying would you credit that back in their check?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they'd be paying 611 basically.
Lower what they're getting taken out of their check a week, because the city said we'll pay 804 for the
Yes.
employee. So that, I think, would be huge.
well, that would be the only motivation that they would have to move down.
To move down, yeah.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, there'd be no motivation. If you only have employee only, then what would be my motivation? You would move down.
Oh, you would.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So unless there's a benefit to the employee, i.e. financial, then you wouldn't have, the 210? No, I'm sorry, 154 people would have zero motivation to move down.
Right.
Right, they might only move on.
The 16 to 23 and 17 would all consolidate. Because that would be less coming out of their check to do it.
Yeah.
As long as if this is what we choose to go with,
Right.
I just want to make sure if the city, because we got to have a number, it can't be a different number for everyone, that'd be a nightmare. So the city picks that number of what they're going to pay to stay on the current plan of what we are for employee spouse, children, and family, then savings gets doubled if they start doing that. To me, I think that works out for them.
But you're not talking employee only, are you?
Well, I use that as an example.
What I mean is you don't expect
Nobody
to give
pays.
raises to
No,
people
no,
that
no, no.
go to alternate one
This
because they're
just-
saving money.
Just the insurance costs, that's all. I'm not looking for raises.
Okay.
Just the insurance, what's coming out of their check, I don't expect anything to go into their check except for their own money because this is what the cities offer.
Mr. Chairman, if I may follow up. So basically what you're saying is that the city should pay whatever the base plan is, no matter what.
Mhm.
And so somehow the employee either gets compensated for that, if there's a saving to the city, or the employee picks up the extra cost. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure how much then, I think you have to look at what the saving,
What's
if there's any saving to the city then, it's gonna be different. If the
Right.
city-
Right
It
now,
would remain the same as what it is right now.
right now, if we have the current plan as a base plan, and that 1688.24 a month is what the city's paying and what the employees paying for just like employee and spouse. So what that would translate to, I believe, is that if they chose to go down to alternate one, that if it was, the city paying half and them paying half, it'd be 1492. But if the city is paying that same 16.8 or 16.8, whatever, I can't, 688.34, then instead of the employee paying 1492, they're gonna be paying like 1392 or 1350. It's gonna, because this is based on half and half, but the city is still paying that same across the board, then that's gonna kick the employees' copay actually down because the city's picking up more than half. If they're just paying a flat number across the board.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a couple $100 a month savings for the employee that they will see in their check because it's not being deducted.
I think out of that 154, I think you'd be kind of surprised that some of them, well, the 154 not paying anything, so let me just get past that. I think a lot of them just take it, they probably have insurance, their wife has insurance or something like that, so.
Additional questions, comment? Jackson, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Great stuff. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And that brings us to new business. And this is just for general discussion, mainly to determine what we're going to do.
First of all, let me, say, Tim Hale, I think we got, unless y'all tell me different, I think we got everything you needed from the state lady that was here last.
Yes.
TML didn't have firm numbers for us, and we had to give them some information for them to do that. They have received that information, and they're thinking that they can come back next Thursday and present their firmer numbers to you then.
And agreeable with the committee. So, please, any additional business?
We're gonna be 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on next Thursday.
9, or 10 work better?
Yeah.
Okay. 10 okay with everybody else? Next Thursday? Yeah. I think that TML people will appreciate that too. They have a drive, so.
That's the 30th.
Any additional questions, comments? Roxy? Any comment, question? All right, there being no further business of the committee, that today's meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.